Salom aziz o'quvchilar, speaking mavzularini discuss qilishda davom etamiz va bugungi mavzuyimiz describe something you do to save time, ya'ni vaqtni tejash uchun qiladigan ishingiz haqida gapirib bering. Demak, what it is, when you do it, how you feel when you do this and how it helps you. Ya'ni nima ish bu, qachon qilasiz and o'zingizni qanday his qilasiz va how it helps you, va bu sizga qanday yordam beradi. Va mana shu haqida demak gapirib bermoqchiman. Umuman o'zbekchasini ozgina gapirib bersam, nima haqida bo'lishini, bu ko'proq meni hozirgi ishim bilan taalluqli, ya'ni onlayn kurslarim bilan taalluqli. Ya'ni oldinlari ko'proq offlayn o'qitganman, faqat keyinchalik mana yaqindan boshlab onlayn kurslarni ham o'qitishni boshladim va juda ham ishim ko'payib ketib qoldi birdaniga. Chunki offlayn darslarim ham bor, onlayn darslarimni ham o'tishim kerak. Biz onlayn darslarimizda shunaqa narsa borki, biz faqatgina ba'zi onlayn darslarga o'xshab shunchaki bir ma'lumotni tashlab berib yoki shunchaki test berib qo'ymaymiz. Biz onlayn kurslarni shunaqa tashkil qilganmizki, uning ichida demak oldindan yozilgan videolar bor, birinchi o'rinda albatta. Undan tashqari jonli darslar bo'ladi haftada 3 kunda va undan tashqari albatta feedback beriladi. Misol uchun siz vazifa qilgan bo'lsangiz, ya'ni aytaylik essay yozgan bo'lsangiz, essayingizni tekshiramiz, speakingdan tayyorlangan bo'lsangiz, demak speakingingizni tekshiramiz va mana shunaqa qilib biz iloji boricha o'quvchilar bilan ko'proq ishlashga va ularga ko'proq bir manfaat berishga harakat qilamiz. Biz shunchaki haligi nima deydi, bir rasm tashlab yoki bir ovozli narsa tashlab qo'yib bo'ldi, shu bilan onlayn dars degan narsa, tushuncha yo'q bizda. Bizda ya'ni o'sha o'quvchi bilan feedback sistemasi joriy qilingan va mana shu narsa ozgina menga juda ham bir qiyinlik qildi. Sababi offlayn darslarim ham o'quvchilarim ko'p. Onlayn darslarni boshlaganimda men ko'p odam kutmagandim, juda ham ko'p odam qatnashadi deb o'ylamagandim va o'zim eplay olaman deb o'ylaganman. Ya'ni bir 20-30 o'quvchi bo'lsa, ular bilan bemalol o'zim ishlay olishim mumkin degan bir taxmin bo'lgan menda. Lekin meni to my surprise edi, ingliz tilida, o'zbek tilida qanday aytishni bilmadim, lekin juda ham bir talab ko'payib ketdi onlayn kurslarga. Hozir juda ham ko'p o'quvchi bor va ana shu o'quvchilarni vazifalarini tekshirish, ularga feedback berishga shunchaki fizikal ulgurmay qoldim. Ya'ni imkon bo'lmay qoldi. Ya'ni vaqtim tejashim kerak edi. Shuning uchun men ana shu ishlarni, ba'zilarini, demak, o'sha feedback berish qismini assistentlarimga, yangi o'qituvchilarga delegate qildim, ularga topshirdim. Mana shu orqali shu muammoni hal qildim. Mana shuni gapirib bermoqchiman hozirgi demak nimamizda, speechimda. Va bu narsa to'g'ri. Misol uchun aytishim mumkin, o'zingiz bersangiz yaxshi-yu, baribir to'g'ri, o'zim bersam yaxshi, lekin men charchayman, men ham insonman, boshqa qiladigan ishlarim bor. Mana shu narsalarni hisobga olsak, assistentlarim bergani aslida yaxshiroq. Sababi assistentlarim faqat shu ish bilan shug'ullanadi. Ularning boshqa qiladigan ishi yo'q va ular mendan ko'ra yaxshiroq feedback beradi. Sababi men baribir charchagan holatda bo'laman, boshqa holatda bo'laman, har xil vaziyat bo'ladi. Boshqa qiladigan ishlarim bor, misol uchun mana videolar olishim kerak, ya'ni kreativ ishlar bilan ham shug'ullanishim kerak. Chunki aynan shu feedback qismini o'zida o'ralashib qoladigan bo'lsam, umuman vaqtim bo'lmas edi. Hozirgi video ham albatta yaralmagan bo'lardi agar faqat men o'zim tekshirib o'tirganimda vazifalarni. Shuning uchun men ko'proq aynan eng muhim qismlari bilan shug'ullanaman. Ya'ni jonli darslarni o'taman, manaqa videolar tayyorlayman, video materiallar o'quvchilarga tayyorlab beraman. Qolgan qismini, feedback qismini ko'proq meni assistentlarim bajaradi. Men nazoratim ostida albatta. Xo'p, mana shu haqida gapirib beraman hozir speechimda. Xo'p, mavzuni gapirishdan oldin demak ozginagina e'lon. Agar sizda onlayn kurslarga qiziqish bo'lsa, onlayn kurslar, ayniqsa multi-level yo'nalishda onlayn kurslarga qiziqish bo'lsa, albatta pastdagi linkka orqali to'liqroq ma'lumot olishingiz mumkin Telegramdan va biz sizga yordam berishga tayyormiz. Odatda gruppalarimiz tez to'lib qoladi, shuning uchun iloji boricha ertaroq yozishni tavsiya qilaman. Demak, kurslarimizga yozishingiz mumkin. Onlayn kurslarimizga Telegram orqali pastdagi linklarni bosganingizda demak chiqadi o'sha Telegram maxsus kanalga o'tasiz va u yerdan biz bilan aloqaga chiqishingiz mumkin. So I want to talk about the technique that helped me to save time, and this is related to delegation. Now, I used to teach only offline lessons, but recently I started delivering online lessons as well. When I started my online lessons, I was expecting a few students, maybe like 20-30 students would join my classes, but then there was a huge demand for my classes and I decided to help as many students as I can. But there was the problem. The problem was that I had very high workload, very much workload. It was 2 or 3 times more than the regular workload, and I understood that it was impossible to cope with this kind of workload if I don't do something about it. So then I decided to hire teachers, special teachers, to check the homework part of my online courses, and I could only focus on the delivering the live lessons, and the rest of the part of the course could be done by my assistants, like checking the essays or checking the answers to speaking questions. So this could be done by my assistant, and I could do the main part of the job. So for example, this video is also as a product of this delegation process, because otherwise I would probably be checking someone's homework. So it saved me a lot of time, and the time that I could spend on other things like my family, my kids, and other things that I want to spend time, like doing my hobbies, doing some sport, doing some workout, because otherwise I would probably feel really stressed and depressed, because there would be too much homework and I would probably be unable to cope with all of it. And the thing that came to my mind, I would give it up altogether, because I would be unable to cope with this kind of workload, and I just don't want to deliver online lessons altogether, because it is taking so much time of mine, because I don't want to do it, and I just would probably focus on my offline lessons. So it really helped me a lot. It improved my productivity. I'm now delivering better service. Now you might say well, it would have been nice if you checked the essays, speaking answers yourself. Yes, of course, but you have to understand that I'm also a human being. I need some rest. I need to do some other things as well. And when my assistants check your homeworks, they do really good job, and they do it better than me, because they have nothing else to do except doing this checking part. But I'm responsible for many other parts of this business, and actually the quality of the lessons that we deliver has actually increased. Okay, so it has been a little bit longer than I expected, but I tried to speak fast and cover all the things that I wanted to talk about, but anyway, I just exceeded the time limit. Okay, now it's time to move on to part 3 questions. Xo'p, demak, part 3 savollarni ham ko'rib chiqamiz ekan. Birinchi savolimiz, how do people manage their time? Ya'ni odamlar qanday vaqtini boshqaradi? So people, I think many people manage their time by planning. Some people have very long-term plans, some people have very short-term plans. I, for example, have both, and I try to align my short-term goals with my long-term goals. And I also sometimes write down the things that I have to do, and there are many other things that you can do. Maybe having a diary, maybe having a weekly planner or monthly planners, a special notebook where you write down your plans. And also you might actually set your plans when you are when you woke up in the morning and say okay, so the day has started and this is the thing that I have to do, and you can talk to yourself and maybe write down the thing, something that I do myself usually. So and I have these very short-term goals, like daily goals, and I also have very long-term goals, and I try to, as I said, to align my short-term goals with my long-term goals. What can people do to spend their time efficiently? So qanday qilib samarali o'tkazish mumkin? Now, of course, people have to, I think, set deadlines. If you don't have deadlines, you probably won't do it on time, and you might actually be busy with the things that are not really important, and maybe postpone doing things that are really important. So I think having deadlines is something that people should do when they want to manage their time efficiently. And what do people do to save time? Now, what do people do to save time? So, for example, I try to do things in bulk. For example, if I have homework, I try to have all the homework and check it at one time, instead of doing it throughout the day. I just do it in one time. So I just do things in bundles. So bundling, I think this is the technique is called bundling, when you do things stuff together. And another way to save time would probably be not wasting it. So you have to cut down on the time that you spend on maybe social networks or gaming, and you have to try to save time for more important things. Is it important to manage your time efficiently? Sure, sure. It's very important because time is the most precious thing that we have. And as you spend your time, as you age, every single day, every single minute, every single hour counts because you have to try to make use of it. Otherwise, I mean, you're going just to end up wasting your time and maybe regretting in the future that you could do this stuff. You were not disciplined. You just spent your time on things that were really not important. So you might actually regret in the future if you don't manage your time efficiently. And so, do you agree that today's success mainly depends on being able to manage the time effectively? Now, of course, yeah, it is one of the most important factors. Perhaps I would say the most important factor, especially when we are living in the world of distractions. It's very easy to be distracted, and you may be distracted not just for a short time, but for a long hour. So imagine you're doing a very important job, and then a message pops up from the social media, and then you open it up, and then you keep scrolling, and then videos keep coming out, and you just want to maybe see the photos of other people. So you might actually, and there's a TikTok as well, so you can watch the short videos for hours, and you just don't realize how much time you actually wasted, and then you want to do other things, like you have to do you have to eat, and then you have to go to sleep. So the main part of the job, like for example if you're reading a book, is actually has been wasted. So the time that you could spend on this. So we're living in the world of distractions, and there's so many distractions, especially your phone is a main distractor, the social networks, the games, the online games, and there are so many other things that you could distract yourself. You can waste your time with. So you have to be really careful about these things. Now, should parents help children manage time? Should parents help children manage time? Yeah, sure. Because children, if you just let them do whatever they want, they will probably do like maybe only watching TV or playing around and just wasting their time. But of course, you should allow them to do some things that they really enjoy doing, like maybe playing with other kids or maybe watching some TV. But you have to also teach them that it's important not to waste time. So you have to teach them that time is something that is really precious, and you have to give them some small tasks that can be done in a very short period of time, and they have to learn it, gradually, of course. But I'm not saying that you should make them to be super efficient every single day. But of course, kids, they like playing, but it doesn't mean that we should just let them do whatever they like. We have to have certain constraints, certain boundaries, and which they shouldn't pass over. How can we avoid wasting time? Now, as I previously answered, the main distractions, we have to reduce the distractions. And the main distractions are the social networks, your phone, the games that you play. And I think it would be better to switch your mobile off or put it in the silent mode, or put it somewhere where you cannot reach immediately. And so that you're not distracted by this. So especially when you're doing something important, maybe reading a book or writing an essay or preparing for an exam or watching my videos. Yeah, without phone you cannot actually watch my videos. Yeah, on this part you can use your phone. But otherwise, when you're doing some things that are not related to your phone, try to just put it outside of your reach. So this is, I think, very useful technique that I can advise you. And how can we avoid? Do you think deadlines are necessary? Absolutely, deadlines are necessary, and you have to have deadlines. Now, when you are at school, you have deadlines. When you have at university, you have deadlines. But when you finish school and you start working, these deadlines actually disappear. So if you think about, of course, you have the work deadlines, the time when you have to submit the reports, when the time you have to respond to emails. But on other cases, like for example, like being healthy or having, or maybe achieving your goals, you don't actually set deadlines for these things. But I think it's very important to set deadlines. So for example, I have to do workout every single day until this time. And this is actually a very good way to have a fulfilling life. So you have to have deadlines, both in your studies, in your personal life, in terms of your health, and in terms of development. So everything has to be deadline based. Otherwise, you might just just not think about it much, and eventually give it up and not achieving anything in life. So you should set deadlines for everything possible, I think. Okay, demak mana shulardan iborat edi mavzuyimiz savollari, hammasiga javob berib chiqdik. Thank you for listening and watching the answers, and hopefully you learned some nice phrases and maybe some ideas to use in your answers. Thank you for watching. See you soon.